A director spends years perfecting a masterpiece, pouring their heart and soul into every frame. Critics rave, fans weep, and the industry buzzes with anticipation. But when award season arrives, their name isn't even on the nomination list. Instead, the spotlight falls on a mediocre film that just happens to have the right connections, the flashiest campaign, and the deepest pockets. This isn't a one-off story, it's a recurring drama in the world of award nominations, where backdoor deals, lobbying, and personal biases often dictate who gets their moment in the sun. From the Oscars to the Grammys, these prestigious events are less about rewarding talent and more about playing the game. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal the dirty politics of award season. Who's pulling the strings? How do studios manipulate the system? And why are so many deserving artists left out in the cold? Welcome to the untold truth of Hollywood's biggest stage. Award shows are often hailed as the ultimate celebration of talent, but beneath the surface, there's a complex machinery at play that often prioritizes influence over merit. Let's dive deeper into this tangled web with a real-life example, the infamous Oscars 2011 Best Picture nomination controversy. In 2011, The King's Speech took home the coveted Best Picture award, beating out Christopher Nolan's Inception and David Fincher's The Social Network. While all three films had their strengths, The King's Speech won largely due to an aggressive awards campaign spearheaded by its production company, the Weinstein Company. Harvey Weinstein, infamous for more reasons than one, was a master manipulator of the awards system. He transformed the Oscars into a battleground, hosting lavish parties, sending personalized gifts to Academy voters, and even leveraging personal favors. It wasn't just about promoting the film, it was about promoting relationships. Academy members weren't just evaluating the movie, they were being courted like political figures. This wasn't an isolated incident. The Weinstein Company famously pushed Shakespeare in Love past Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan in 1999, despite the latter being widely regarded as one of the greatest war films ever made. How? By rallying voters, launching targeted ads, and convincing critics to shift the narrative in Shakespeare in Love's favor. Studios with deeper pockets often have the upper hand in this game. Netflix, for example, has been shaking up the Oscars in recent years, pouring millions into campaigns for films like Roma and The Irishman. For Roma, Netflix spent an estimated $25 million on its awards. Campaign more than some films' entire production budgets. They hosted screenings for Academy members, sent out luxurious mailers, and funded countless for your consideration ads. These campaigns often overshadow smaller, independent films that lack the resources to compete. Films like Moonlight, 2016, and Parasite, 2019, were celebrated for breaking through this system, but their victories are the exceptions, not the norm. And then there's the issue of gatekeeping within the Academy itself. Until recently, the voting body was overwhelmingly composed of older white men. This lack of diversity directly impacted the types of films that got nominated. For decades, stories centered on minorities, women, or non-Western cultures struggled to gain recognition. The hashtag campaigns #OscarsSoWhite in 2015 and 2016 forced the Academy to reevaluate its membership. But change has been slow and uneven. Consider the snubbing of Selma in 2015. Despite being a critically acclaimed film that tackled the civil rights movement, it only received 2 nominations, one for Best Picture and one for Best Original Song, which it won. Many industry insiders speculated that director Ava DuVernay and actor David Oyelowo were overlooked due to an implicit bias in the Academy's voting body, which was 94% white at the time. In this high-stakes game, even the artists themselves are forced to play along. Nominees are expected to campaign for their awards, attending endless press events, interviews, and photo ops. Some, like Monique, who won Best Supporting Actress for Precious in 2010, refused to participate in the campaigning. Her lack of enthusiasm for the awards circuit was openly criticized, leading to speculation that it hurt her career opportunities afterward. But it's not just about lobbying and campaigning. Sometimes, grudges, personal rivalries, and politics within the voting body itself can sway the results. Directors and actors with controversial pasts, outspoken political views, or strained relationships within the industry often find themselves snubbed, regardless of their work's quality. This murky mix of influence, bias, and money raises the question: are awards really about recognizing excellence? Or are they just a reflection of who can play the game the best? Award show politics don't just end with lobbying and lavish campaigns. Often, these controversies spill into public view, sparking debates about fairness and the very purpose of these ceremonies. Let's explore some pivotal moments that expose the flawed system and change the narrative surrounding award nominations. Take the 2020 Golden Globes, where the critically acclaimed series When They See Us by Ava DuVernay was completely shut out of the awards despite earning widespread acclaim and being a cultural phenomenon. Many suspected bias within the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. HFPA, a notoriously insular group of just 87 members at the time, none of whom were black. This glaring lack of representation highlighted the HFPA's flawed nomination process and its tendency to favor traditional, mainstream productions over socially impactful narratives. Similarly, in 2021, the HFPA was criticized again when Emily in Paris, a light-hearted romantic comedy drama, received nominations over the groundbreaking HBO series May Destroy You. The latter tackled issues of sexual assault and trauma with raw, emotional storytelling. Even some Emily in Paris writers publicly admitted they were shocked by the nomination, further fueling accusations that the HFPA's decisions were driven by connections and personal favors, rather than merit. Speaking of influence, we cannot ignore the 2011 Grammys and the infamous snub of Justin Bieber. Bieber's My World 2.0 was a commercial juggernaut, dominating charts and sparking global fan frenzy, yet he lost the Best New Artist award to jazz musician Esperanza Spalding. While Spalding is undoubtedly talented, the Grammys were accused of prioritizing an artistic narrative over popular success. This incident fueled speculation that the Recording Academy sometimes deliberately avoids awarding commercial artists to appear more highbrow. Another recurring issue is genre bias. Hip-hop, for example, has been consistently marginalized at the Grammys, despite being one of the most influential and commercially successful genres of the last few decades. In 2014, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis won Best Rap Album over Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Massachusetts, AD City, a decision that sparked widespread outrage. Even Macklemore himself admitted that Lamar deserved the award. The moment underscored how the Recording Academy often fails to connect with the pulse of the music industry and its audiences. But perhaps the most infamous award show controversy of the 21st century was the 2017 Oscars Best Picture debacle. As the night reached its climax, La La Land was announced as the winner, only for it to be revealed moments later that Moonlight had actually won. This shocking mix-up wasn't just an embarrassing logistical error. It symbolized the stark divide between traditional Hollywood storytelling and the push for more diverse, impactful narratives. Moonlight's victory was a win for underrepresented voices, but the incident raised questions about how these winners are chosen in the first place. Even the criteria for nominations can feel opaque and exclusionary. The 2022 Oscars introduced new diversity standards for Best Picture eligibility, requiring films to meet specific benchmarks in areas like on-screen representation, crew composition, and audience outreach. While some hailed this as a progressive move, others criticized it as performative or overly restrictive. It's a reminder that even attempts to address systemic issues can spark division and controversy. Meanwhile, the influence of streaming platforms has added another layer to these politics. In 2019, Green Book won Best Picture at the Oscars over Netflix's Roma. Many suspected that traditional studios had lobbied aggressively to prevent Netflix from breaking through, fearing the streaming giant's dominance. Similarly, Martin Scorsese's The Irishman faced resistance from voters who were hesitant to fully embrace streaming films as legitimate contenders. These controversies have a lasting impact on how audiences perceive awards. Are they celebrating art, or are they a reflection of the industry's cliques, biases, and power plays? While moments like Moon Iyef's win and Kendrick Lamar's Pulitzer Prize for Music in 2018 give hope that true talent can be recognized, the politics behind award nominations continue to cast a long shadow. The system's flaws are evident, but it's also clear that these controversies often lead to crucial conversations and incremental changes. The question is, will these institutions evolve fast enough to maintain their relevance in an ever-changing cultural landscape? Award nominations are far more than glittering trophies and red carpets. They're a battleground of influence, bias, and behind-the-scenes drama that often leaves audiences questioning the integrity of these celebrated ceremonies. While the glitz and glamour captivate millions, it's these controversies that keep the awards relevant, sparking debates that linger long after the statues are handed out. But here's the twist. Is this drama part of the charm? After all, the politics and snubs generate headlines, fuel social media firestorms, and keep us tuning in year after year. We love to root for underdogs, debate perceived injustices, and watch unexpected victories unfold. Without the drama, would we care as much about awards? As Hollywood grapples with its own evolution, whether it's increasing diversity, adapting to streaming platforms, or navigating public backlash, these ceremonies remain a fascinating reflection of society's changing values. So next time you're watching an awards show, remember, the real story isn't just who wins, it's how they got there. What do you think? Are awards still worth the hype, or are they just glittering illusions hiding deeper issues? Let me know your thoughts. And hey, don't forget to grab some popcorn. It's awards season, and the drama is just getting started. Cheers.